Hey guys, welcome back to the Code with Nate channel. Today we are going to continue in building our sales pipeline dashboard. You can see it here on the screen. Basically what it is a way for a sales manager or somebody interested in the sales pipeline to view sales steps live as they come in, so they can see everything from a prospect seeing an ad to a prospect clicking on an ad to a prospect eventually buying a product and then maybe posting an ad themselves to their social media for our product. And these steps each have details, so it's pretty useful, cool stuff. And all this data comes in real time. So for example, a fake landing page we made here, you would click buy gadget X, and I think we're going to have to restart our back end here. But an event would come in real time and be propagated to this view right here. So you would actually see these events come in real time. A user would click on buy now and you would see the event here. So that is pretty cool. Anyways, today we're going to get to logging these events in Elasticsearch. And to do that, first thing we need to do is install Elasticsearch. Yeah, so you can see events coming in right here. And if we click on buy now 3 times or 4 times, we see the events immediately over here in our sales pipeline dashboard. So pretty cool stuff. And this is all using Akka streams and Akka HTTP on the back end. If you guys want to take a look, that's in the last video of this series, building a sales pipeline dashboard. Okay, so let's go ahead and install Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch is a database that's optimized for text-based search, I would say, and it's also kind of out of the box built for distributed deployments. So it's got high failover, and then also scalability is really good with Elasticsearch because you typically should deploy it in clusters of multiple servers, and it kind of automatically distributes the data to different nodes in your cluster for you so that things are redundant and scalable. So let's see here. We want Elasticsearch docs. And yep, alright, cool. 6.2 is the current. I guess we can use 6.2. It looks like the, let's see here. So we need Java 8 installed, and it says check what version of Java 8 you have installed by running Java version. So I'm going to open up a new tab here so we can do all this. Java version. We have 1.8 already. Cool. And Java Home needs to be set as well. We don't have Java Home set. I don't know if we need to or not, though. We'll see. So it recommends installing using curl. We'll go ahead and do that. The next step we need to do is unpackage that code. And then we need to go into our Elasticsearch directory, into the bin directory, and we just want to run Elasticsearch. And hopefully that works. So that was a really easy install, which is pretty cool. That's the easiest part about setting up Elasticsearch, probably. The next thing we're going to need to do is define our mappings. Which essentially let Elasticsearch know how to index the data that we're storing in our Elasticsearch indexes. Okay, cool. So it's starting up here. Looks like we can write to 9200. Localhost 9200 is where we're running. I wonder if Kibana is running with this or not. So I want to go into Elasticsearch bin. Kibana is sort of like a front end for Elasticsearch. You can query the data in your Elasticsearch cluster using Kibana. It's pretty cool. I haven't used it very extensively at all, though. We may or may not use it in this tutorial. Alright, are we still going here? Maybe not. Let's see if Elasticsearch is running by just shooting a curl request at it. 9200 is the port. It looks like it is, and we can see, yeah, it seems like we are good to go. So the first thing we need to do when we start a new Elastic cluster, since we're logging these messages, these events, we're going to need to create a new index. Let's see here. So, modifying your data, nope. Create an index. This is the first thing you need to do when you're going to store some new type of data in your cluster. So we want to create an index named sales pipeline events, I believe. So we need to run a put at localhost 9200 sales, and this needs to be all lowercase, I believe. At least it did in version 5.6, the last version of Elasticsearch I've used. So we're going to put sales pipeline events, yes. That's right. So now we've created an index, and in this step we could have defined the number of shards that we wanted, but I think that's probably better left for another tutorial. You'll probably want to read about that if you're doing this for production data or anything. The number of shards has a big impact on the performance of your cluster. The next thing we need to do is push our mappings up to this index so that Elasticsearch knows how to index the data. So let's take a look at our model here, our data model. It looks something like this. So we've got an event name, a product ID, which is an integer, and a prospect ID, which is a string. We probably also want a description, which is going to be a map of string to string or something, or just maybe additional is what we could call additional info, map of string to string. I want to see if this will even work in our current setup. Let's see here. So we go to our landing page. Additional info is going to look like that. Let's see, product name maybe we'd include here. That'd be Gadget X. We're going to restart a landing page. Uh-oh. Sales pipeline event. JSON format, that needs to be 4. And we're going to run this again. If you guys want to see how we built this this real-time Akka Streams event handler service, you can check out the last video. It was pretty good. Last video that was uploaded, last video in this series. So let's see, this should be running pretty soon. While we're waiting for this to run, oh, it looks like it's running now, so we'll go ahead and test this and see if things work. It looks like things worked. And do we see our events coming through here? Yeah, we do. Okay, great. So now we want to store these. So to index this data, we need to take a look at the format of the whole thing. So the message event data here looks like this. So I'm going to open up a Scratch file here in IntelliJ, and it's going to be a JSON file. That's how you send mappings to Elasticsearch. And I'm just going to put a dummy item here so that we can see what our model looks like. So we've got 3 fields. We've got event name. Let's go look and find actually the. Let's go find the syntax for mappings here. Field data types. Yeah. Example mapping. This is what we want here. So we're going to copy this example mappings that I just found in the documentations for Elasticsearch, the documentation, and we are going to insert it right here. So it says mappings doc. So this is a mapping for our sales pipeline event type. Yeah. We have several properties here. Our properties are going to map one-to-one to these elements in our that's interesting. That's when you push down all funky in our sales pipeline event here. So we've got an event name. We have a product ID. We have a prospect ID. We have additional info, and that is just going to be probably type text. Okay, so there's a couple different types. There's a couple different types here. So Elasticsearch indexes data by default as for full text search, so you can search through everything text-wise. But that takes up a lot of space, and it's not necessarily performant. So what we want is we want to set some of these to more optimized types. So one of those types is the keyword data type, and it is a field to index structured content such as email address, host names, status codes, zip codes, or tags. They're usually used for filtering. So this would be kind of this would be sort of a like an ID, a text-based ID. So what we're going to do is set our product ID, because I believe that is a string. Let's see, this is what it looks like here. Our sales pipeline event looks like this. Event name's a string. That's going to be a keyword. Product ID is going to be an integer. Prospect ID is going to be a keyword as well. So let's go ahead and set those up in our mappings. So product ID is an integer, and the others are keywords. The event name is a keyword, and the prospect ID is a keyword. And then we can get rid of this. So this is what our mappings are going to look like for this index. Let's go ahead and submit those. So that is in CD's desktop, Sellify backend, and then if we go to, where is Scratch here? Scratch is, oh, it's not where we want it to be. So we need to create a new file called mappings.json or something along those lines. And we need to submit those mappings to our Elasticsearch server at that sales pipeline events index. And the data we're going to be using is mappings.json. I don't know. We may need to. It looks like we need to set a header of content type application JSON. There we go. Resource already exists. It looks like we need to go and delete. Let's delete that index that we just created, because it looks like you need to create the mappings at the time. At the time of creating the index. This command here, when we run our put, is going to create the index and the mappings at the same time. So there we go. So now we should be able to run a GET request to this endpoint and actually see that our mappings have been uploaded. And we can pipe that into Python-M JSON tool and see a pretty printed version. Yeah, so everything looks good. It created 5 shards by default. 5 shards by default, and we've got mappings for a sales pipeline event type here. So that is everything we needed. I'm gonna stand up here for the rest of the video probably. Alright. Still going. Alright. So the next step we need to take is to log our events as they come in. Let's see here. So we've got right now our events come in here and we map them to a server sent event. But what we want to do is pipe these events first into logs, or actually I guess we can simultaneously log them and display them in our dashboard. So I want to look into Scala Akka streams graphs, because that's how we take a stream and take one stream and pipe it into 2 different streams. I saw this example while we were working through some things. So unzip splits a stream of AB tuples into 2 streams. That's not what we want. Broadcast, given an input element, emits to each output. That's the one we want. So we want to take our input of these events that comes in right here and output once to the dashboard and then once to our Elasticsearch storage. So let's take a look at how broadcast works. It looks pretty simple. It looks like we have to import this graph DSL implicits. So let's do that. And then it looks like we copy this chunk of code here, maybe. So let's go ahead and do that. It looks like those imports didn't quite work, which isn't great for us. Let's go ahead and copy that block here and just see what happens. We need to run some imports here. Import these. We want the Scala DSL version of this graph DSL. Top head sync, bottom head sync. So these would be our 2 different syncs, I guess. Flow, sync head. Our sync. I want another source though. Let's see here. So create takes. We'll see what happens here, I guess. We'll take a sync of server. What do we want? We want syncs of sales pipeline events, really. And let's see. A broadcast, we need to import this class, and that's going to be the Scala DSL broadcast. Closed shape, we need to import there. And then we also need to import these implicits. Oh, it's already here. Cool. Shared doubler. I don't know. Shared doubler needs to be our event source here. So, I don't know why this isn't resolving. This is our combinator, I think. Right? Combiner, I mean. Oh, look, it worked here though. So I think the only reason that this is not working, I think we want this to be a source of sales pipeline event. Because that's what it's looking for here. Flow shape of integer. We want server pipe or sales pipeline event streams for all of these. Let's see, source dot empty into broadcast dot in. I don't know what this is all about. Broadcast is, I think this is what our broadcast really is. This event source. Let's see here. I don't know what those intermediary objects were here. But I think this is going to do it for us, maybe. Okay. So does this return... I don't know. I think we're kind of getting this right, but I'm not sure. So server sent events source is going to be that first one here. No, yeah, that'll be okay. And then we're gonna run this here. So I think we've just split the I think we split this a couple ways, but I'm not sure actually. So no, service and event source equals what is top head sync here? Top head sync is a sync. We want a flow, I think. I don't think we want a source, maybe. So right now we're trying to split our stream of sales pipeline events into two separate events, or two separate streams, so that we can log one stream to Elasticsearch and then one stream to the straight to the dashboard. But we might just give up and do them in sequence. Let's see here, top head sync. What if we made these flows? Akka stream, Scala DSL flow. Source of sales pipeline. Split a source into two sources, Scala Akka streams. That's what we want to do. Although you can choose which side of the source you want to retrieve items from, it's not possible to create a source that yields two outputs, which is what it seems like you would ultimately want, given the graph stage below you, which essentially splits the left and right value into two outputs. Or probably more desirable, route them to two separate syncs. Yeah, I think we'll just run this stuff in sequence for now. This is enough for another tutorial, splitting streams probably. So I'm going to undo this mess we just made. And we're going to be back to right here where everything's working nicely. And before we map our server sent events to, our sales pipeline events to server sent events, we are going to come here and map our sales pipeline, maybe just event, and then we're going to return event out so that we can use that later. But in here, we are going to create a connection to Elasticsearch. So we need Akka HTTP client, an Akka HTTP client to send data to Elasticsearch. Request level for letting Akka HTTP perform all connection management. That seems good. Let's see here, system dispatcher. So, oh wow, look at how easy this is. This is cool. All right, we're gonna copy this syntax here to send a request to Elasticsearch. We just need to import future. It looks like Scala concurrent future, and we'll need to import these as well. Scala util success and Scala util failure. And we want to create a function here that says log to Elasticsearch. And that's going to take a sales pipeline event. We'll call it event though here. And that is a sales pipeline event. That function is it could be a unit, but it might not be. I think we might actually return out another sales pipeline event. So we're just going to return the event itself for now, and really it's a future sales pipeline event. Right. If possible. We might not even do that for now. We might keep it really simple and do this the blocking way, or synchronously, or whatever. Let's see. So we want to return event there. Map. And then we'll recover with, let's see, how do we do this? Case E, global. E.getMessage. This is kind of how we're going to see if anything goes wrong. Let's see, Scala future recover. Recover is how we handle errors in our Scala futures. Recover. So recover looks like that. I think we got it pretty much right here. Oh, we're supposed to return something as well. Okay, so we'll just return the event in any case, but we want to at least log out the message here. Error. So this way, after we get our response back from Elasticsearch, we're going to return the event in the future, or we are going to log the error and return the event anyways. Let's see here. So response future, we want this in here. It's going to be a post. HTTP dot, do we have a set method or something along those lines? Single request, HTTP request, and it looks like probably in here we want to set the method. We have URI. What else do we have in here? Let's look up really quick how to do Scala HTTP post requests. see, doing HTTP request in Scala. We want Akka HTTP post requests, really. So it looks like, this is a post route. Post a JSON with Akka HTTP client-side API. So to do method equals HTTP. It looks like we had it right. Interestingly enough, it looks like we should be able to pass a method here. Maybe we forgot a comma. We did. HTTP method dot post. Maybe it's HTTP methods dot post. There we go. So we're sending a post and then entity. We want to look like, we want that to be our event there, I think. Let's see, request is HTTP request, entity equals entity. Entity in this case, Marshall app to request entity. What is Marshall in this case? So we need to figure out how we, when we ingest these events, how do we transform them to JSON? So let's see here. So when we take these events in, it's right here, path and post. We do entity as sales pipeline event. So what we want to do is post an entity. So this is a marshalling directive. So our issue is here. Entity should be a request entity. Creating a request entity, Akka HTTP. Entity as person, and then response as string. Interesting. Oh, that's the test for that. It is also possible to use the entity directive to obtain a raw JS value, which is what we want, I think, by simply using as JS value. Let's see what happens. Do they have? No, they don't. Response as. We're simply using as or any other JSON type that you would have. Entity. I don't know how we send this request entity. Posting, and we're using spray here, I think. Yeah. Posting spray entity Akka HTTP. Trying to find the docs for how we do this. Mapping JSON entity. Entity, that is so bizarre. Where does entity come from here? Entity. Okay, look at this. Event right here. is a sales pipeline event. Posting spray entity. Yeah. Looks like we're searching for the right thing so far. Post. No, this is a handler. Akka HTTP client is what we want. Post JSON with Akka HTTP client-side API. Let's model an instance of the application class. We create the format for it. So it looks like maybe this is what we need here. Let's copy this chunk of code right here, paste it into here. We need to import Marshall, which I'm not sure. Okay. Marshall event. And then maybe this will work now. HTTP would be our, oh, I guess we want this bit. We want this in here. And let's see here. Where's HTTP? Val request equals that. Oh no, here we go. We can go ahead and here. Alright. So I think we're onto something here. We've now taken our entity and transformed it into a request entity. There we go. I think we've got it here. So we want to post to 9200 sales pipeline events. This is the name of the index we made in Elasticsearch. And then the name of the type is this right here. So the format of a request to Elasticsearch is the host name / the index name / the type name. And we're going to post our entity up to that. And we'll see what happens. At port 9200 is where it's running right now. Right, so, and I want to see if we can even flat map concat. No, I don't know. We're gonna do nothing here. Bye. Have a great day at work. Okay. Yeah, so this might actually do it for us. Let's log here. Success. And what is X in this instance? X is an HTTP response. Let's log that. Body. How do we get the body from that? So we make the request, and Akka HTTP response body is what we want to see. As string, is that right? Streams based. Future byte string. Response as string. We don't have an entity coming back, it's the thing. X is an HTTP response. Entity, okay. As, yeah, this is right. Unmarshal entity to string. This is how we view this. Okay. X dot entity to string. So this should log out that response body. Success. And we'll log out that response body. Alright, so let's restart our server. And we need to run this on every event, so we'll do that here. Typically we would want to split this so that we could log to Elasticsearch at the same time that we're piping that down through a server-side event to our front end. But I think that's kind of outside of the scope of this tutorial for now. We really want to get those events in Elasticsearch in a reasonable amount of time today so that we can query those. Alright, so we are running here, and let's try and post here by GadgetX, and we're getting purchased back. Let's see if we see any logs in here. We're not seeing any logs here. But let's take a look in Elasticsearch and see. So we would go to the search endpoint to find out if we had any documents. So it looks like we're definitely not, this is definitely not working. So now we're debugging here, and I put a breakpoint here, put a breakpoint here. Let's just see what happens. Let's log some more events. Okay, so here comes the post. And are we still seeing our events over here? Interesting. It's like maybe we're getting some errors now. We're not actually seeing our events come down anymore. So let's get rid of this step here and rerun things and see if our events are coming back. And if so, then we've got an issue with our implementation of the Akka HTTP client here. Not sure what could be wrong though. Things look pretty good. So let's restart this, and I want to start seeing heartbeat come in. It says got other cancel. What is going on here? Let's take a look at what we've done today so that we can hopefully don't have a get diff yet. I don't know why we can't see the difference. We are in desktop Akka hello world. Oh, we're not in our Sellify backend. And we made the commit to the other project. Let's see here. Do we have Sellify backend here? Interesting. Oh, this is Sellify backend 2. Where's Sellify backend? Oh well. See here. So why then why aren't our events going to the right place here? If we click play, we are mapping the item to a sales pipeline event, which is then, it should be being sent out as a server sent event here. So we'll try doing that again. But it looks like it's not, maybe. So this is getting called here, I almost wonder. Okay, no. I was thinking. I knew we can't return this in two places. This can't be used in two places. So what did we break here? So last time there was another instance of this Silify app running that was causing it to break. See, you can see the heartbeat coming in, but it fails oddly enough. I'm going to try throwing this on a different port because it almost feels like something else is subscribed to our events here. So I'm going to change the port there and restart, and I'm going to have to change the port in our front end as well. That's there, 8081. Then we should see this restart, and we should start seeing some events come through, but oddly enough they don't. What did we do today? It's not getting used anywhere. Oh. Well, that seems to work just fine. Let's try and... I guess we can try and just kill this. Got to cancel there, okay. Do we get a cancel here no matter what? It's kind of what it looked like. Nope, no cancel. And then if we curl, okay, here comes our heartbeat, and where's our landing page here? If we click buy, we would expect to see some data, but we don't. We just see the heartbeat, and that's because we're not running this map here anymore, right? Oh, that's failed now. Failed. So something is breaking. Oh, and that's because we need to change the port to 8081 in our landing page as well. There we go. So now we've got the entity pushed down, and okay, we see it here. We do see it. So I think we're okay here. It's yeah, I think something's off about with our Angular app for some reason. So I think we should be able to uncomment this now, hopefully, and then see everything logged to Elasticsearch, because we are transforming our sales pipeline event case classes into JSON and then pushing them up to Elasticsearch. And is that right? Well, yeah, entity. Marshal entity event to request entity. We think so, at least. Maybe. So let's tail that, and then let's buy gadget X. It's calling on next just fine. Alright, look at that. We got a success. We got 201 created. HTTP status code 201 created. So that should mean that our event was logged to Elasticsearch, and we also see that it was logged out to our HTTP client. So let's curl search again, and it looks like our event is in here. Look, hits, here's hits, and we've got our additional info, project gadget X, event name, prospect click buy. I think we want to log like a date created as well. So let's go ahead and do that. But other than that, I think we're looking great here. Well, no, we can even worry about that later. The ID might contain a date created. But let's just pause this for now and buy a bunch of gadgets, and I just want to see that all those are being successfully inserted in here. So we should see a bunch of them in there now, and we do. And our client is still getting these sales pipeline events, so that's great. Another thing I want to do that we learned in this episode is how to transform one of these case class entities into JSON, and that's using this marshal object. So let's, in our event source for the dashboard, let's go ahead and transform this to JSON while we're here, and then it'll be just about time to wrap up the video. So we want to marshal event to JS object if possible. Yeah. And we then want to map that to a string. No, we don't want to flat map it. We want to map it to, or maybe we can just marshal them to a string. No. How do we marshal entity to JSON strings array? To string. Parse a JSON string. Print a JSON AST string. JS string, that's not right. I want to transform this JSON into a string. Yeah, maybe we won't even. We'll worry about this in another tutorial. Let's call this a success. Let's call it what it is, the success. We can now see our events in a front-end client real time, and we're logging them out to Elasticsearch in the background, not blocking anything. Ideally, we want to have two different sources. One source being synced into Elasticsearch, and one source being synced into our front end. But for now, this works just fine. Just fine. Let's see here. Buy gadget X, buy gadget X. There they are there. And this is looking great. So we got an Elasticsearch instance running locally. We're pushing events to it. We set up our mapping so that things are indexed correctly and we can query against them. Life is good, guys. I think we did really good. I wonder, does that work? No, it doesn't work. Yeah, so I think this is a pretty good start. Next time we'll probably use this Elasticsearch data a little bit more, or for building a dashboard so we can see time series data and things like that. But I'm actually taking a trip down to Mexico for the next week or so. So I will see you guys after a week or so. So thanks for watching as always, guys, and have a great day.